It's a bit harsh and unfair from people that haven't boxed to say someone quit.
Pro boxing fans here in Manchester with Johnny Nelson. Johnny, you're a much sought after guy, man. The whole world's after you.
I don't know why, because I chat shit. I don't know what it is, so they must like shit.
And that's why we like you, man. That's why we like you. Let's talk about why we're here. Smith-Eubank 2. After the first fight, a lot of people said there's no need for the rematch. A lot of people were saying, you know what, it's a conclusive win for Liam Smith. But why has it got more interesting over time?
I'll say it's got interesting because Chris Eubank is good at getting under your skin, making you talk about it, getting your attention. Chris Eubank has you hit me with the elbow. Nah, I'm not having that. And we bought it. And we bought it. So we're here again. And the thing is, it sells again. And the thing is, it creates as much interest and enthusiasm for the fans to watch this because of that. It's that simple, because remember, Chris got stopped badly in the last one. And now, again, debate started all over again. And it's just, to me, I think good on you. He's a great salesman. He's great at putting himself in a position. What can he change? I don't know. He can change his attitude in regards to what tactics he's going to choose when he comes out. But apart from that, I don't know.
He's had 5 weeks with Bomac, a new 4.5 corrected. Is that enough time, though, to implement certain things in camp?
So let's do the maths. 4.5 weeks. A week before a fight, it's tapered down. You know, you're resting up, you're just easing yourself in. So that's down to 3.5 weeks. The first half a week, let's give him that to understand one another's language, terminology. So that puts it down to 3 weeks then. To 3 weeks of a coach coaching you to implement something in your fight to make you good enough to win such a good big fight. So in that 3 weeks, how many times are you going to train technical training? Because you're going to do your fitness, your stretching, then you're going to do your technical stuff. So let's say they do 5 days a week. So in that 3 weeks, 5 days a week, that's 15 times these two have to work together to prepare for such a big fight. To think of to find tactics that are going to win him a fight that he got knocked out in the last fight. My point is this: I don't respect or understand how fighters can do that chop and change from trainers willy-nilly and expect success at the highest level. You've got to understand my good days, you've got to understand my bad days, you've got to understand my highs, my lows, you've got to understand how to motivate me, or you've got to understand how to attempt to get my head out of my arse and get it right. You ain't got that. That takes time. So you can't do that overnight. So when you're chopping and training trainers all the time, what are you learning? So all it's told me is this: what's Chris learned? He's learned nothing because he's not listening. He's not listening, and so he thinks he can do it himself. But the thing is, his dad also said, we don't need trainers. You do need trainers. You need the trainers to bring the best out in you. You need trainers to motivate and bring it all out in you. So when going to whoever it is, you might as well have gone to, I don't know, anybody. In 4.5 weeks to prepare, you need someone to give you a few tips, this, that, and the other. That's basically what he's done. He's hired a hired gun.
What he said on Gary Neville's overlap, he did an interview with Gary Neville, and he said the reason why he's not with Roy Jones is because Roy Jones said he couldn't take him on for this fight. He had other fighters that he was committed to. Do you believe that is the reason then?
No, I don't. No, I don't. And I think maybe Roy Jones was wrong for him, because Roy Jones' style of fighting didn't suit the style of fighting that's productive and positive for Chris. And I've got a lot of respect. Roy's my friend, but I think he's the wrong guy for Chris. I think Chris needs a trainer that's going to make him do what he's good at. Fight him. Make him do what he's good at. Use his pace, use his engine, use his fitness. That's what he is. They tried to outsmart a guy that was smarter that could outbox him. So why don't you do what you're best at? Get him in there, because he had cameos of success when he went to get the fight on. You need to get in there, put it on him, because and I mean, don't leave him alone. And in doing that, you give himself more of a chance than trying to outsmart, not Liam, but you end up outsmarting himself. So he tried to outsmart Liam by doing what Liam does. You got to know for that. And that's the only difference this is going to make.
does Liam Smith need to change anything in his game plan? We know what Liam is, technically a good fighter. Do you feel like he needs to change much in his game for him to beat Chris for the second time around?
Not much. He needs to make sure he's not complacent. He needs to make sure he's not a given. He needs to go in there with the same same dogged mentality. I mean, he's a bit snappy this week, which is a good thing. And as long as he's still got that respect for the danger that's in front of him, I don't see much of a difference apart from the fight lasting longer.
Quickly, want to move over to other things before I let you go. A lot of talk about this whole Dubois Usyk thing, whether it was a low blow or not. I want to ask you something else, and a few people are alluding to. Eddie Hearn did an interview as well and said, listen, when things get on top of Dubois, he kind of pushes out, alluding that maybe he quit. Maybe when things get a bit tough, he pulls out, and a lot of people are saying because he got up so late in that round for that stoppage, that is the case. Do you believe that is the case with Daniel Dubois?
Let me just say, and I'll keep saying it, promoters talk about promoting, and they know about promoting. Managers know about managing, and they know about managing. Trainers know about fighters and training fighters. Fighters know about fighters and know what fighters understand what's going on. So no promoter, manager, all trainer can say you quit because they don't know enough. Talk to a fighter and talk about that. Daniel Dubois, the fight was beaten out of him. He didn't get knocked down, he went down. There's a difference. When he went down, he got up at 9. When he got up at 9, that means he could get up at 8. But what happens is you think to yourself, you know what, I'm on the back end of a shellacking here, so I've got to make a decision to step out of this because I'm making a rational decision to say, you know what, I ain't got no more fighting me because this guy's got everything. And he made a decision to say I'm out of that. You know, so it's a bit harsh and unfair from people that haven't boxed to say someone quit. It's a bit harsh and unfair from people that haven't boxed to try and understand and talk like they're fighters, like they've been punched in the face, like they've been beat up. Speak to fighters about what happens in the ring when fighters fight. Speak to promoters about promoting fights. Speak to managers about managing fights. Everybody stay in your lane, because all of a sudden you'll it's the analogy I use with AJ. A lion is listening to donkeys. You understand? I can't go to a promoter and tell him how to do his job. What do I know? So why can a promoter come and say, well, he did this, he did that? You don't. You can observe, you can have an opinion, but that's all it ever is. So you guys should, when you give these guys that opportunity, don't take it for gospel. Oh, he said this, that, but everybody's entitled to opinion. But what I'm saying to you is, Daniel Dubois, the fight was beaten out of him. He did everything he possibly could. The fight was beaten out of him. He had a choice, and his choice was to say, you know what, I'm making a decision to come out of that. He didn't quit. He made a conscious decision to say, I've got to step out of this because this guy's got everything, and that's what he did.
I am going to let you go quickly because I know you've done quite a few interviews. Last one I want to ask you about actually is we see Canelo and Charlo mixing it up next month. Talk to me about this one. I always like to get your thoughts on fights. That's an interesting fight.
Charlo, if anybody's got a chance in today's world right now of beating Canelo, it's Charlo. But I think the chance is more in Canelo's favour than it is Charlo's. I think Canelo beats 99% of fighters in the world now, even though he's not the fighter he was. I think Charlo is a good fighter, he's a good talent, but I think so is Canelo. Slick. He's a slick mover, he's a slick fighter, he's an experienced fighter, he's a proud fighter. And so I go with Canelo. I think Canelo will just have too much for it.
Well, I am going to let you go. I know there's a few others waiting for you right now, and I'll speak to you during the week. Have a good one, and speak to you soon, mate.
Boom, bang!